My name is Rick Robinson, and I write political thrillers. One of the things that happens when you become a writer is that you get asked to speak to a lot of different groups, and I like going out and speaking on everything from leadership to the writing process to what it's like to be an author. I'd like to tell you a little bit about some of the different presentations that I make and that are available to your organization. All of my speeches find their basis in my political thrillers. They've won national and international awards, and no matter what I do and what I say to the various groups, it is the books that are the centerpiece and the foundation for my speeches. Oftentimes I'm asked to go and talk to groups about leadership. And the speech that I give to that organization is a set 45-minute, 50-minute speech called Everything That I've Ever Wanted to Know About Leadership I've Learned from Watching The Godfather. The basis comes again from the books, where the characters in my books live the Godfather rules of leadership, both in politics and in life. I'd like to give you a little preview now of what that looks like as I take scenes from The Godfather and work them in to leadership situations. Take a look at one that I've done recently in Columbus, Ohio.
Luca Brasi, the most feared man in all of New York. Luca Brasi is so feared that if you've read the book, they couldn't put what he did in the movie that made him so feared. He was that bad of a man. He was that tough of a guy. Everybody, even Don Corleone, was afraid of him. But he was humbled that Don Corleone had invited him to the wedding. And he's standing outside the study of Don Corleone, and what's he doing?
Oh, he's practicing.
He's practicing, that's exactly right. He's got his sheet of paper out there. He's got his sheet of paper out and he's looking at it. Don Corleone, thank you for inviting me to your home on the day of practicing, over and over again. Hagen finally brings him in, and does he ask for a favor? No. But what does he give to Don Corleone? My never-ending loyalty. I worked my first campaign in 1977. That year, we did everything ourselves. We ran our own mail, we printed our own labels, we sorted it, we put it out the door, we did everything that we had involved. Today, all that has changed. Everything that you have in public life and the people that you work for can purchase whatever expertise they want. They can purchase it in the campaigns, they can purchase HR assistants, they can purchase anything they want. Let me tell you the one thing they can't purchase: loyalty. That is the number one asset of anybody involved in public service. The loyalty that you have back and forth between those that you work for, and, I might add, as you are determining here at this conference, the loyalty that goes back and forth in the negotiation process.
Everything that I ever wanted to know about leadership I learned from watching The Godfather is something that I will take with your organization and custom fit it to the goals of your particular meeting. I could also do the speech and make it relate to politics. It kind of goes back and forth to either one, but it works really well for leadership speeches when you're looking for that type of a potential from your meeting. Second group of speeches that I'm often asked to give are to organizations who want someone to come in and talk literally just about what it's like to be an author. I wrote my first book really as kind of a bucket list item. I didn't expect it to become popular. I didn't expect it to become part of a writing career. Yet 3 books later, here I am. And so I take that unique process and I bring it into an audience and tell them my story. And it's a great speech to give to a group that wants to have a lot of give and take, a lot of question and answers that go back and forth, because I think back in the back of everyone's mind, everybody wants the opportunity to have one book come out of their lives. And this is that opportunity to stand in front of those organizations, talk to them about the writing process, the creative process, and let them know what it's like to actually be out there and be an author. Here's a speech that I gave recently to an organization that kind of goes into that, what it's like to be an author process.
You know, I am a true believer that everybody has one book in them. My problem was I spent 30 years trying to write the wrong book. Growing up, I had this crazy uncle. my Uncle Chip loved to fish. Everything, the world revolved around fishing. In fact, one day his wife to him said, "Chip, you got to make up your mind. It's me or the fish." So he left and went off to the Everglades to live with the Seminole Indian tribe and be a fishing and hunting guide for them. So I had this book in the back of my head for years that I was trying to write about a guy who was in his 50-ish years, going down to the Everglades and looking for the history and his own personal wealth and value in the man that he had grown up admiring as a kid. I struggled and struggled and struggled with that book until one day I sat down with a client who was a friend of mine, told him this very story, and he looked at me and he said, "Why are you trying to write a coming-of-age book? You've never really come of age. But you do have 30 years in politics. You ought to write a political thriller." Well, the little light bulb went off in my head, and I guess about 30 days later, I had 150 pages.
So I get the opportunity to sit down with people, explain to them what it's like to be a writer, and that's one of those events where I really leave a lot of time for question and answer, because most of the folks in the audience really do want to know what it's like to be on the road, to be an author, to create for a living, and put it out in front of people. The final venue that I get to ask to attend a lot are writers' conferences and writers' workshops. And I get asked there in large part because of the unique story that I have to tell. When I first started the process of writing, I determined that in order to get my books out there and to get my works out there, I was going to have to work as hard at marketing as I did at writing. I determined that small press, and even the big press these days, work hard to sell your books. They want to make sure that you work just as hard at doing it. So I developed a personal marketing plan that I went about implementing to get my books and to get my works be known. And so when I get asked to go to writers' workshops and when I get asked to do writers' events, I sit down and I teach writers how to develop a marketing plan for their work. Here's an example. You have got to have a marketing plan. In fact, I think I got so much attention from my first novel because along with submitting my manuscript, I also submitted a marketing plan. If you're writing your novel and you haven't started thinking about marketing, you're already one step behind the 8 ball. Seriously. You have got to think about how you're going to market your books and market yourself as an author. If you have a group that wants a speaker to come in and talk about writing, whether it be from the leadership side, whether it be from the writing side, or whether it be down to the nuts and bolts of what it takes to create and write, I'd be more than glad to talk to you about developing a presentation that is really custom made to your group and what it is that you're trying to get across at your meeting. If you want to give me a call, you can go to my website at authorrickrobinson.com. I have all of my contact information there. Or feel free to drop me an email at richardleerobinson@yahoo.com. And I look forward to talking to you.